What if the very childhood trauma you've been trying to heal is actually the source of your greatest supernatural power, your superpower? You weren't just abandoned, you were being initiated into the frequency of the Seer. It's time to stop mourning your brokenness and start wielding the psychic precision forged in those early fires, those early years. Because what no one told you while you were surviving it, the wound and the gift came through the same door. Welcome back, loves, and welcome if you're new here to the sanctuary. Before we go in, remember to take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and always use your own discernment. You are your best guide. I'm sharing the truth Spirit has shown me and the truth I've lived myself. This one cuts close to the bone for a lot of you, so breathe with me as we walk through it. The isolation you felt as a child was never a curse. It was a divine blueprint for your sovereignty. Your early rejection sharpened an intuitive discernment most people will never possess. Today, we're transmuting those ancient wounds into the unique chosen one gifts that let you navigate the unseen world. So stay with me. Let's start where it started, the rejection. Early abandonment doesn't just hurt you, it pressurizes you. It becomes a subconscious pressure cooker for spiritual awakening. While other children were resting in the safety of belonging, you were being forged. The heat was real, but heat is what turns carbon into something that cuts. Notice this shift that happened in you. You moved out of the victim archetype, the one waiting to be chosen, and into the frequency of the observer, the one who sees beyond the surface because she or he had to. You learned to read what was underneath the words, underneath the smiles, underneath the room. And that ache of not belonging, that was never your failure. It was the first act of preservation. Some part of you refused to dissolve into a collective that couldn't hold you, because your energetic signature was always meant to stay intact. You weren't rejected. You were being kept separate for something. Now let's talk about what that survival actually built. As a child, you scanned every room for safety. You tracked moods, footsteps, the shift in a parent's tone before anything was said. You called it anxiety. Maybe they called it anxiety. Spirit calls it the early calibration of your radar. That hypervigilance was professional grade intuitive discernment in its rawest form. The same nervous system that learned to detect danger, learned to detect truth and deception, and that doesn't switch off when you grow up. It matures. What protected the child becomes the gift of the seer in the adult. But here's the part I won't skip, because it matters too. High voltage awareness will drain your battery if you let it run wild. So you ground it. You learn to consciously close the radar when it isn't needed. You feel your feet, you return to your body, you tell your system, I am safe now. I am the one in authority here. You take the wiring that was forged in fear and you put it in service of your vision instead of your fear. That's the key pivot. That's where survival becomes sovereignty. Stay with me. I know firsthand how lonely it was. I'm not going to soften that. But I want you to reframe those years because they were not wasted. That isolation was hermetic initiation, a necessary period of mental and spiritual fortification. Every mystic, every seer, every one who came back with something real first went through a season of being apart. Being cast out by the collective forced you to build something most people never develop: internal authority. When no one validates you, you stop outsourcing your worth. You learn to stand on your own knowing. You became your own witness, your own confirmation, your own north. So look at that solitude differently now. It wasn't punishment. It was the laboratory. It was the quiet room where your sovereign voice was tested, challenged, and refined until it was unmistakably yours. Confirmation. This is the heart of it. Here's the alchemy. Map it for yourself. Your deepest childhood pain and your greatest healing gift today are almost always the same place. The thing that wounded you is the exact terrain you now help others cross. The abandoned child becomes the one who makes others feel seen. The unheard child becomes the one who listens like no one else can. That's not coincidence, because we know that doesn't exist, right? That's transmutation. So we break the cycle of mourning the broken self. You were never broken. Let me repeat that. You were never broken. You were precision engineered under pressure. The strength inside those scars was made by fire, not in spite of it. And the shadow aspects of your upbringing, you don't bury them, you integrate them. You let them become fuel for your mission as a conscious leader. The dark didn't disqualify you, it deepened you. So now you step in. Stop looking at your scars as damage and start seeing them as the tools of a master healer. The survival instincts you developed in the face of abandonment have evolved into the sovereign frequency you carry right now. You're not waiting to be activated. You already are. You move from survival mode into divine impact, the state where your presence alone shifts the energy of a room. People feel it before you speak. That's the seer's frequency, fully owned. And this is the final turn. You become a bridge builder. You take your personal history, the very thing that was meant to isolate you, meant to break you, and you make it a blueprint for collective evolution. You went first so you could come back and light the path for others. That was always the assignment. If this is landing in your body and in